Becky cringe. The man is a babyface again. In the wake of her pathetic feud with Gay J Therapy and her total failure to get young Butch Machine, Mole Rooker over, Cringe has given up on the whiny heel act that made many consider calling for the permanent abolition of professional wrestling, and is now a vapid babyface, leeching off of Stephanie Vacation's popularity. And just what is it about Vacation that audiences find so wonderful, so perfect? This is a question one must ask, but not be sure of. A question to be looked back upon in the rear view. Anyways, I'm being a good friend this week and doing some house minding. And wouldn't you know, I forgot my microphone. So this phone recorded review will probably sound like I recorded it in someone's bathroom, not even my own. This week's Monday Night Bore opened with the returning Stephanie and her peachy bum calling out Div Morgan. Last week, Becky Cringe suggested Div Snorgan was cheapening the women's title. Beyond being a pretty face, Morgan has offered nothing. I repeat, nothing of interest during this title run, and has actually embarrassed the already at a low point promotion with her pathetic auto-tune failure, more auto-tune than a T-Pain Naughty's hit. Her dreadful attempt at homaging Naughty's Britney Spears. Anywho, Snorgan and the Judgment Day gals who can't draw flies to cow dung stood around while Morgan vowed to have a long run, presumably because she'll almost never defend it. Cringe later ran out to steal some of Vacation's fan interest. I mean, help her younger, cooler, better-looking new ally. But it was to no avail. The Judgment Day beat them up. Stephanie Vacation is pretty good, I guess, but this segment was formulaic at best, if we want to be generous. Javon Evans was guaranteed a win next because he was wrestling Jub D, Mac Jubber, big head boy himself, a man who believes in winning about as much as Richard Dawkins believes in Adam and Eve. Very athletic match, unsurprising, considering the ability these two possess, and Evans continues to impress with his dynamic high flying. It's all a little too neat and tidy sometimes, though, too choreographed, as it were, like so much of this gymnast style nowadays, but the match was never boring. And it told a logical story of the snivelling heel McDonough taking advantage of Evans's recklessness on the outside to ground and neutralize his high-flying opponent by focusing on his ankle. Of course, Evans made the babyface comeback with an OG cutter for the win. Neat little opening match. Big Cass is back. And actually, Big Cass is pretty good these days. He was horribly wasted during his time in AEW. He looks and carries himself like a monster heel. He works like one. And here was no different, as, well, this was a bit uncomfortable actually, the enormous white guy, for I think the third week running, or is it second week running? For a few weeks now. Targeted the skinny young black guy for another unmotivated, if you can call it that, beatdown. Shocking stuff. I can't believe WWE would run an angle like that in these sensitive times we live in. Shocking. Anyways, Evans tried to show some fire here, but it just led to him getting left laying by the former Learning Tree henchman not once, but twice. To be fair, I actually think these two have a good shot at doing a very good David versus Goliath kind of matchup when they settle it in the ring. Oh, and also, Dominipo Mysterio was out there, but one look at his record in the WWE this year tells you they don't care, so why should we? I bet AAA just love watching their top champ get jabronified and muted in the mid-card on the bigger shows. Fenix wrestled El Fiscal, a luchador who I assume is good with his money or something, in that tournament to decide which AAA talent will look at the lights for Roman Reigns some point in the near future. El Fiscal went for a tombstone at one point, which means absolutely nothing to US fans, of course, but apparently the move is banned in AAA. Almost like random rules from other promotions people don't watch won't get heat or something. Clearly Triple Nose has learned nothing from all the Japanese and indie mid-carders. Excalibur has stumbled over himself trying to sell to AEW fans over the years. Anyways, Bird Lady gives off weird theatre kid energy now, but with even less acting chops. She wrestled Mole Ruka in a match thankfully seemingly led by Bird Lady, who at least knows how to put a bout together and structure it logically. She has solid ring technique. She's not a botch machine. Her moves make sense. They're well timed and put together. She's not bad for work rate, Bird Lady, but this character thing is not helping her. And regardless, her new Lady of Her Meds gimmick was not enough to return to winning ways, with Mole Ruka hitting a flip bump on herself for the win. Alright then. Oba Femi is in serious danger. Serious, real danger right now. His segment with Bron Breakker heavily teased him being the next Paul Heyman guy. Probably just a swerve to add some heat to the build for their match. But all the same, the last thing the ruler needs after retiring Brock Lesnar is the anchor of a past-it catchphrase merchant like Heyman eating up all of his airtime and overacting at ringside for his matches. Why isn't Femi in the world title picture? I understand he put his well-earned world title shot on hold in kayfabe to settle the score once and for all for Brock Lesnar, but does that mean he doesn't get a title shot? CM Punk called him out. He's on Raw. Roman Reigns is a champ there. What are we doing here? It's a waste of time. Not only does Femi look kind of stupid, but it makes the whole King of the Ring thing seem kind of worthless. It's a double lose. The bright side here is that both Femi and Breakker are pretty cool. They do feel like guys who could be the next generation of main event talent. So it is a shame that only Femi is actually allowed to be booked to seem cool. But oh well. More wrestling next. Gotta say, it's a pleasant surprise how much action is actually on this show for a change. Dragon Lee versus some kind of luchador doctor who frankly seemed a bit on the hefty side for a high-flying luchador. A little too heavyweight for, as JBL would put it, the jumping bean style. I'm not sure we're allowed to call it that these days. Anyways, this was a pretty cool match, as Dragon Lee heroically fought through Big Doctor Guy's strikes and physicality to send him packing with a Destino. Or whatever it is Dragon Lee calls his version of the move. Up next, the best all-round talent in the whole promotion. Chad Gable continued his babyface redemption arc, one that stems from his determination to destroy all luchadors originally by destroying a beloved luchador. Well, not really, but by beating another one. This match with Rey Mysterio was the best part of the show, from the funny handshake and cheap shot exchanges early on to Gable's slick map work and Mysterio's crisp and well-timed counters. Two talented guys just playing a game of one-upsmanship between the ropes. They hit a lot of similar spots to Mysterio's ruthless aggression-era matches with Kurt Angle, reminding us all of the anti-aging wonders of stem cells in Mysterio's case. Ultimately, the masked man's focus on counter-wrestling proved to be his undoing, as Gable reversed his cradle into one of his own for the win. This was an excellent TV match, well worth watching. And here we go again. More Bloodline drama. Look, the Bloodline was the best angle in wrestling in 2021 and 2022. Some might even argue 2023. Though it was seriously running out of steam post-WrestleMania 39. The Rock jazzed it up a bit for WrestleMania 40, but that was it. The original Roman Reigns Solo Sikoa feud was meant to be the end of this telenovela. At least, that's what we thought. This week, Midtard, Jey Uslop, is delivering Solo Sikoa to Roman Reigns, as if Sikoa was an Amazon parcel. And Roman Reigns, this is actually incredibly sad. Really sad stuff. Roman Reigns is going senile. The guy's only 40, but the signs of early onset dementia are there. Like when he said he beat Sikoa in tribal combat 3 years ago. 3 years ago. Sikoa was actually Reigns' most loyal and effective henchman at that point, but it's fine. It's fine. Whatever. Reigns got a little kinky for my tastes. I thought this was a family show when he started snatching at Sikoa's outfit and saying he wanted the guy on his knees. Okay. I know Reigns might forget, with that new dementia of his, that he and Sikoa are blood relatives, but even so, come on now. The tribal perv is a married man. This is disgraceful conduct, especially for a champion, a world champion no less. Shameful. Jacob Fatu jumped Sikoa, who the fans are really behind, and understandably so. Sikoa actually shines as a babyface. It turns out he's got a great sense of humor and loads of charisma. He knows how to play to a crowd. You can't help but ask, why wasn't he doing this the whole time? And even in a goofy segment like this, he still shone. The crowd's investment in him carried this. The fan support for Sikoa, that's all it was. That's all that was keeping this corny retread of the kind of bloodline trial stuff they used to do with Sami Zayn in check. And to be clear, the Zayn in Bloodline story was really good. I know this channel roasts Sami Zayn a lot, but these kinds of segments were normally very compelling during his run with the team. Now, not so much. Anyways, LA Knight ran out, he didn't fall over, incredible, to defend his new buddy. And he got a beating from Roman Reigns for his efforts. Sikoa then, to a huge pop, massive pop by modern standards, hit Roman Reigns with the Samoan spike when he was ordered to hit Knight. Sikoa and Knight then cleared house as Fatu begrudgingly just kinda watched on, seemingly hinting at a future angle of him also turning face, possibly. Maybe a Sikoa-Fatu reunion with them both as good guys, who knows. Which brings us to the big problem here. Reigns is randomly a heel again, and he's neutered the personalities of the Usos to go with it. These guys are running a rerun of an old angle, almost beat for beat at this point. Knight and Sikoa, this is the bright side, are actually very good babyfaces. The main thing keeping this angle compelling, even with how repetitive it is the fact that Knight and Sikoa are genuinely likable, and fans genuinely want to support them. But all the fan hype for a Roman Reigns solo babyface title run from earlier this year is officially out the window completely. From the night he wrestled Punk onwards, he slowly just regressed into his tribal chief persona, but fighting a little more fairly this time. The segment had heat, it definitely pushed this angle forward, but we've seen this angle so many times. The only difference is the son of Rikishi going rogue this time has a lot more charisma than the other two. So his babyface work might actually hit the right notes, it is so far. But hey, we don't even know how long this new Bloodline saga will last now, that poor Reigns has both Swiss cheese brains and a disturbing need for his pudgy cousin to get down on his knees for him. This was up there with that time he said he owned Bronson Reed's rear end just because the guy was of Samoan ethnic origin. We understand now, as more and more of these senile slips come out, what Roman Reigns is really about. And it's clear, the backdoor piracy of the Shield did not stop with Zest Rollins, oh no. The apple, or ass-pool, if you will, did not fall far from the tree for the tribal queen either.